guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is the Global Tolu Akemi, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about something very sensitive, something very powerful. No, I'm just joking. But first, before we go ahead, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video. In the course of our conversation, please drop comments. All right, so in today's video I want to talk about something that so today is currently 29th of August, right? 2023, and I woke up to a DM. Yes. So in the DM, the person said, I'm currently 29 years old. She is currently 29 years old. She has a crush on a 27 years old guy. And the guy is amazing. The guy is this, the guy is that, the guy is this. And she wants to know what I think. Should she talk to the guy? How should she address it? How should she undo it? I'm not going to say it has happened to me before, and I'm not going to not say it has not happened to me before. Whatever you get from that, hold it. But I just wanted to talk about my experience around something like this, and I just wanted to share, just in case you are out there and you are currently experiencing something like that. So this video is going to have a part 2, I believe. I'm not sure yet, but I think in the course of our conversation, a part two might sprung up, just in case. If it sprungs up next week, we'll talk about it. But if it does not, we won't talk about it next week. So what and how should this be handled? The first thing is calm down. So don't make it look as if there's something wrong with you. There's this. No. There's nothing wrong with you. We are both in this world, this Africa, Nigeria, the universe. We are both here together. There's nothing that is happening that has not happened before. Do you get? So that's the first thing that I want you to do. Calm down. But the second thing I want you to do is, I hope you're ready to hear the truth, because I'm going to share one from my experience, and I'm also going to share from added resources that I've been able to get. Do you get? So let's dive right into it. So for me, I think one of the things that happened to me was last year, that was 2022, I started this challenge. I wanted to learn, how does marriage work. I really wanted to learn. I was really interested in learning. So I started looking at it, looking for it, everything all together. I started, jamming all these things together. Now, the first thing that I discovered, for me was, it was just a thought that came to my mind, and I was just thinking about it, and I just thought, I think I can still even remember the exact moment it happened, because it happened in the month of August. Ooh, funny enough, this is a year after. It happened in the month of August 2022, when the thoughts came to my mind. And I remember I was taken back. Like, I was like, whoa, what if this actually happens? Spirit like, it was just something it was just a conversation that I and Holy Spirit got into, when, he just prompted in my heart, and he says, what if my son that I'm bringing to you, you are older than him? And that thought really, like, it shocked me. It shaked, like, I was shaken by it. My conviction, my thoughts, my mindset, my concept, everything was like, it's all shake me, like over me. So I remember one of the things that I did, which I'm also going to, like, explain to you, is this. The first thing I did was to calm down. The second thing was to lay my cards on the table. I didn't start thinking, what will people say, what will people talk about, what no. That's why I said calm down. That's the first thing I did. I calmed down. Then I said something to myself. I said, I'm a child of God. He's the one that is leading me. So I said, so God, help me understand this thing. Because I really wanted to understand it. I didn't want to go with what everybody will say. I really wanted to understand. So I started praying along it. So that's another thing. I want you to pray. I want you to pray about it. Because one of the things that you have to realize and you have to understand, especially if you want to do marriage God's way, is that marriage is God's idea. No matter how you want to use your common sense to think about it, marriage is God's idea. Simple. Do you get? Especially if you want to do marriage the God way, the right way. It is God's idea. So don't try to want to trivialize, or don't try to want to commonize whatever it is. So if that is happening to you, the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the aspect of crush. So this is my own point of view actually. I don't feel like everybody like we I cannot tell you that I've not crushed before. There used to be a time before I knew God that like I liked crushing on guys before. That was before. Jiggy. I just liked it. To me, this is the way I describe crush. I describe crush as when you just like a person, when you see a guy and you just like a person, like the person just feels like to you the person just looks good and all those stuffs. I feel like it's one of the ways by which love springs up, and you just like the person. It's not because of anything in particular, but you just like the person for their for what they can show you as at that time. Do you get? So for me, I don't find crush a bad thing. It is what you do with the crush that is now questionable. So for me, anytime I see that, oh, currently this person and this guy now, I currently just like the person, I just have this likeness to the person, me, immediately I submit it to God. I'm like, yo, Daddy G, please help me to handle this. That's me. And then when I submit it to God, the next thing I do is I build accountability around it. I tell some of my best girls, like I said, some of my best friends, like I tell them, I say, see, I'm already liking this person, talk to your girl, and that's me for you. Immediately, I put accountability around it. Like my friends now, like they can literally just say, don't like me, I'm on your case, I put accountability around it. Now, if peradventure you are not seeing that, to like me, this thing is like God is saying that he's the one, no, what should I do? See, for me, one of the things I did during my time, but for me, I really did this for understanding. It's not like I say that. I'm not in a relationship currently. So for me, what I did then was like I just took it up as, okay, this is happening to me right now. Let's say I like somebody and the person that I like, I'm older than the person. What should I do? Spirit God was like, what will you do? And I said, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to get knowledge about it. I am going to get knowledge about it. Yes. See, a lot of people, when you receive and when you think of things like that, you are starting to panic, you are starting to look, you are looking for all the bad news out there. Calm down. See, one of the things I've come to realize in my own life is for every bad news you see, there is a counterpart of a good news to it. Yes, there's a counterpart. Like there are people that are taking good stance in that particular place. So if you are like, oh, these people, there are bad people online. Trust me, as there are bad people online, there are also good people online. For example, are you a good person? Are you a bad person? Toluwakemi, how do you know? How are you sure? That is for you to determine. But for me, I believe I am a good person, so therefore I attract goodness into my life. That is my understanding. Whatever you are now thinking, go and deal with it. But for me, for I and my household, that is our own. Do you get? So for me, that was what I did. Immediately, I sat down and I said, who are the people that are currently in a kingdom marriage? Listen to me. Who are people that are currently in a kingdom marriage and the person they got married to is older than them? Or the person that they got married to is younger than them in the aspect of ladies and in the aspect of guys? For me, that was what I did. I wasn't going to shrink. I wasn't going to start becoming afraid. I wasn't going to do that to myself. I was going to what? Go and equip myself with adequate knowledge. So for me, that was what I did. As God would have it, I have a big sister, like a big sis, like a big auntie that is currently married to her husband, and they're even blessed with kids. And their marriage is even more than 5 years old. So I reached out to her And I got on a call with her and I said, Ma, please talk to me about this scenario. How do you handle it? How do you position? How do you do this? And how do you do that? Because see, let me tell you something. People on earth are currently a working system of possibilities. People on earth are a working system of possibilities. The only question is, are you ready to sit down and listen to them and hear what they have to say? That is it. So that was what me I did. Got on a call. I said, Ma, please talk to me about this. And we had a long conversation. I kid you not. We had a she talked to me about everything. She talked to me in the aspect of courtship, in the aspect of marriage, in the aspect of money, in the aspect of kids. Oh my God. That is why you also have to have good people that are surrounding you. And I'm so blessed to have her. By the grace of God, if and when I am privileged to have a podcast, I am definitely going to invite. She's going to be one of my guests. Yeah, because the thing she spoke to me about is I would love for more people to hear it from her. Do you get? And she talked to me about it. After I spoke with her, I also called somebody. I also wanted to hear from the man angle. I also called a man to hear him speak. Because that is it. Don't start seeing things as bad and 40, even the Bible said it, that you have to be a person of the word. You have to be a person that is given to understanding. So don't assume that everything you know is all there is. No, everything you know is not all there is. Some people are currently living in the reality of whatever it is that is a concern to you that you are going through. So I'm going to be sharing few tips that she shared with me. The first thing she asked me was that she said, Toluwakemi, is it God's will or is it just your thinking? And she spoke to me about it from God's will, and she spoke to me about it from my thinking. Some of the things she also spoke to me about it, I listened to it again because I recorded I'm not going to play it here. I recorded the voice, this thing, I recorded it and I played it over and over again and I meditated on it and I studied to show myself. I studied around the things she talked about. One of the things that she talked about, because it's one of the issues, maybe as the lady, you're already thinking that, how will I be able to submit? How will I be able to respect him? How will I be able to, like I said, calm down. All these things, it takes learning and you practicing them. So one of the things she said was that if it is God's will, she said there is empowerment for it. And when she said that to me, oh my God, it really, really, it was like a seed that was planted into my heart. That word was like a seed that was planted into my heart. I sat down with it, when she was saying it, some of these things, from her, from the other person I spoke with, and also from my meditation. So this thing I'm sharing with you, I had to, also study my Bible around it, also look at it. Also, I looked out to see examples of people that are currently living in the realities of these things. Do you get? So the first thing I learned from this is that, number one, if it is God's will, there is empowerment for it. That's number one. So ask yourself, that's why you have to pray, Father, is this your will for me? Is this something you are saying it is for? So if you are the lady, that is the first thing you have to confirm. Is it God's will for me? The second thing that I started, the second understanding and knowledge I got from it is that if it is God's will, there's empowerment for it. Now, the second thing is I had to understand my place as a woman. So this is not about competition. This is not about trying to prove a point. No. This is about understanding your place as a woman, understanding who you are as a woman first. So that was when I started discovering it, that it takes a woman that is whole. It will take a woman that is whole. And then, by the time I started studying what does wholeness entails, I started reading. One of the books I read was I Am Married by DDK. I started watching a lot of Pastor Kingsley's videos where Pastor Kingsley was talking and talking and talking, and I had to sit down. Another thing I did for myself is I had to tell myself, I had to ask myself, how do men think? There's a particular video that Pastor Kingsley did. He talked about how men think. So this thing, you will learn it. For me, I even believe that every woman has what it takes in them to be submissive. Another thing is, maybe you're a guy that is watching this. See, it is not, anytime I see a guy and I ask, what is the issue that you have with a woman or stuff, and he says that she is not submissive, to me, that guy is not serious. Because as a man, it is not your duty to make your woman to be submissive to you. It is not your duty. That is why God gave us job description in the Bible. For the man, he said, rest. He said to love your wife. See, if you as a man, you focus on loving your woman, submission will come. And if you as a woman, you focus on what the Bible said to do, which is submit to your husband, loving you will be easy. So I feel like when you read your Bible, just sit down and just say, what are the duties of a man according to God? He says, love your wife as God has loved the church. You practice that. As a woman, I say submit, you practice that. So for me, one of the things that I started saying is that if you're a woman and that kind of scenario comes to you, what you need to do is you need to now, your mindset, you need to rearrange your mindset. You see, one of the things where God taught me is age is a number. Maturity is all. I've met a lot of people who have told me that I don't speak like my age. They tell me that the wisdom I speak does not correlate with my age. What's that to tell you? That it is possible that he is 27, but the wisdom in his head is not of a 27-year-old. And all these things here, it boils down to personal growth. Imagine if you, 28, 29, 30, you are focused on your growth journey, and he is also focused on his growth journey, and he gets to understand these peculiarities, how to love a woman. So it's not about age. It is not about age. Okay, Toluwakemi, how will I know that I will submit to him? Trust me, submission is not by your strength. Submission is by the help of the Spirit of God. And I know that these things, Toluwakemi, you're not in a relationship. How can you be sure of all these things? Well, the Bible said understanding will keep you. Understanding will keep you, and wisdom will guide you. That is what I did for myself. I had to go and get wisdom. He said, in all your getting of wisdom, what should you get with it? Understanding. So these are the things that I allow to help me build my mindset. So that is what you should do. If you're already sensing that, the person you are going to marry as a woman, the person is older, is younger than you, get wisdom. And there was something Pastor Funke used to say, but I used to hear Pastor Funke say when I was an undergraduate. She says, I am the wife of my own husband. So you have to do away with all this. What will people say? What will my family say? That's why, remember the first thing I said, is it God's will for you? If it is God's will for you, trust me, there is a wisdom to be the wife of that kind of man. There is a wisdom for it. You don't, all you need to do is to key into the wisdom that has been made available for you. Because if it is a God purposed arrangement, trust me, there is a God wisdom for it. And that is it. Don't start panicking. One of the issues that I know that you might be having is what will people say? What will people say? How can I be older than him? Will I submit to him? See, you're a child of God. and you have what it takes in you to do marriage God's way. I'm saying all these things because when I was learning about it last year, I was mind blown. I was like, wow, wow, wow. Like I was just wowing like ambulance. And that is the truth. So calm down. Don't panic about it. If it is a God arrangement, trust me, he is the one that arranged it. So definitely he has what it takes for you to do well in it. So ask him. So as a woman, to me, I don't believe that submission will be hard to you if you are truly a child of God. I don't believe so. I don't believe. See, that's why if you notice very well, if you notice one thing very well, women, they can, like, they prefer, like, if they can find a trusted male figure, the way they open up to the male figure is not always the way they will open up to the female figure. Look at that research very well. Recently served in teenage church, right? When I was in Abeokuta. And when I served there, the ladies in the teenage church, I noticed the way they, there was a guy amidst us. There was a guy amidst us in with the leaders. We were like, I think 4 or 5 ladies, then one guy. And the way they open up to share with him, it baffles me. And as much as it baffles me, it also taught me something because I also noticed that one of the first people I ever opened up to help me in this growth journey was a man. And I realized that one of the things that helps me opened up to him is there's just something I believe this, that there's something in a woman that when she, like, there's something in a woman that makes her want to submit to a man. I don't believe me. I don't believe that a woman has issues with submission. I don't believe it. It might be that they have issues with the degree of submission, with the quality of submission. But I believe strongly that there's something in every woman that makes her wants to submit to a man. I believe strongly in that. I believe strongly in that. So if you are there, you are a lady, and is looking like the person that you people are in a relationship with or something, is that you are older than the person, calm down. It's not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. I kid you not, it's not the end of the world. I also panicked. I'm going to be sincere with you. I also panicked when the Spirit of God asked me that question. I also panicked. But there was something I said. I can still remember my response. I said, if it is God's will, I know that God does not make mistake. I know that God does not give his daughter what is not good and perfect for her. So I said, since I am God's child, I will learn. So that is another thing. You have to be given to growth. I believe strongly that there is wisdom to wife your own husband. And if you're a man, there is wisdom to husband your own wife. That's why one of the things I love that DDK says, that one of the things DDK once said, one of the things DDK once said is that the way she calls her husband, like, it's her husband. So, like, I don't know how else to explain this to you, but I hope that you're able to get knowledge from what I just shared with you. I remember asking that my auntie that time. I said, Ma, what if I'm also earning more than him? What should I do? And she just laughed. And she just said, there's wisdom for it. There's wisdom for it. And there's one thing she really said that really stood with me ever since then. She said, it is your marriage. It is your marriage. So far you are committed to it. When she said that, she said there's nothing that cannot work. When she said that gripped me in my heart. I was like, it is my marriage. It is my marriage. when she said that, like, the stuff really gripped me. Do you get? So don't panic. What will people think? Do away with it. Like I said, it is your marriage. So far, the man is not. I'm not. See, when we are talking about the man here, I'm not talking about just any kind of man. No. I'm not talking about just any kind of man. No. This is a man that is given to growth, that is given to followership, that is given to leadership himself. As in, you will allow God teach you. Ah, God. See, one of the best thing in life is, I feel like one of the best thing you can ever do to yourself is to pray that God teaches you something. God, teach me. This submission thing, teach me. This leadership thing, teach me. This growth thing, teach me. You, and then another thing, she said, there's wisdom for your own husband. When she said that, oh my God. Oh my God. It makes me also think of how our mothers, when we were growing up, like, my mom, you and my daddy, you people can discuss something now, and my daddy will enter the room. I don't know the kind of meeting they will have. The next thing you will hear is it has been sorted, or maybe she'll be like, I thought about it again. No, she thought about it with her wife, with his wife. She gets. So of course it's not just any kind of man. You too, you're not going to be just any kind of woman. Let me also say that you're not going to be just any kind of woman. You're not going to be any kind of woman. Yes, you're not going to be any kind of woman. Do you understand? So it is that way. Me, I don't believe in any kind of marriage. I believe in God kind of marriage. I believe in a kind of marriage that God helps you to build, because see, marriage is more than just we are picture perfect, it's cute, I'm cute, even though but there's purpose to marriage. There's a reason for marriage. That's why I hope that with these few points of mine, you can sit down and do case study thinking. Ask yourself. You will reschool yourself in the understanding of it and say, oh, because this is what is already in front of you now. This is what God has put in your hand, Abby. Then the thing is, how do we do it? Then you start with your mindset. Your mindset. What how you pray the kind of prayer that, God, how do I submit to this man? God, help me to submit to this man. God, help me to submit to this man. God, help me to wife this man, this woman. Do you get? You pray it. So it's not like what if we now have issues? How are we going to solve it? Have you had the issue? Besha? But I hope this video helped you in any kind of way. These were the truths that I found, and I held on to it. I'm holding on to it for the journey ahead. I don't know what is coming my way. I don't know. But when that thought came, I thought it wise to steward the thought and to just learn about it. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. So, yeah, I know it is not the normal dynamics. The guy is always older than the girl in months, in weeks, in years. I know. But there are also dynamics too. When the girl is older than the guy, how should it be handled? And you will, right from when you are single, what my prayer, what dangerous prayers, when you'll be praying some dangerous prayers that, God, shed off ego, pride, shed it off. Like that kind of thing, it will help you, it will reconstruct the way you grow. It will reconstruct the way you pray. It will reconstruct the way you declare things. If you want to I cannot start because I cannot start giving you examples. I sat down and I was doing case study and I was learning. You will fill yourself with knowledge around it. And not knowledge to make you afraid. No. See, I believe strongly that one of the easiest cure of fear is knowledge. You get the required knowledge. You will go, and I already told you, it's not any kind of man. That's when you start dealing with your misconceptions. What do I think about this? What are my point of view? You start thinking, what kind of point of view do I have? Ah, I hope this helped you. I hope this helped you. I sincerely hope it helped you. These are just my thoughts. When I saw that message, I knew I cannot just give you just a small kind of reply, that I needed to do a video about it. So I hope you find this helpful. Yeah. So there's not going to be a part two. There's not going to be a part two of this video. But I'm working on a video for the singles and intentionally waiting community. And it's a video where I want to talk about drum roll. I want to talk about individuality and compatibility. How in marriage, is it actually possible in marriage? Are we individual people? Like, people have asked me in different ways. One of the questions one lady asked me, she said, do I still have my purpose when I get married? Has it not turned to our purpose? Okay, maybe I will title the video Our Purpose versus My Purpose in Marriage. So is it now our purpose? In marriage, is it now our purpose or my purpose? Like, how do we navigate through that? Like I said, I'm not currently in a relationship, but I am one that I am given to learning, I'm given to knowledge. I want to understand these things and I want to understand how it works. So it's like, come your way next time. My name is the Global Tolu Akemi. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel. Feel free to drop a question in the box. If you have questions, if there are things you want me to explain further, please drop it in the comment box. It's like, come your way next time. Bye bye.